saints, through Our Lady, through our Lord, we prevail. This video has slightly sensitive topics. I will try to diminish um, the offensiveness and the controversy surrounding this topical matter. I'll try the best I can. But now I have to say this also, kind of disclaimer. I say this as my family was victimized by a predator, actually a couple of predators, and myself, several predators. One even being looking in the bathroom window of our home as a stalker, and when I saw him, then he immediately retaliated with all kinds of stuff that even now still just some really obviously people that can't move forward in life, and they like to bully people and reminisce over bullying as children, and as teenagers, they still like to bring this stuff up. But the fact of the matter is, when I saw the person, he immediately retaliated. But so I know what it means to be victimized. My family knows what it means to be victimized. It's very common for single parents. We have to be so careful. I just met somebody at the VA the other day who has a son, and he accidentally took a photo of my daughter, and I was trying to video the birds, one of the birds that was injured there, and he jumped in the what would you call it, the lens area. So I had to delete that, and she watched over my shoulder, which I have no problem with. I'm a parent too. But we talked about that, how we have to, single parents especially, have to very, very cleverly and cautiously protect our children. If you're not clever enough, people will say you're overprotective, or like that's a bad thing, but anyway, I'd rather be overprotective than underprotective. Let me tell you, I've seen a lot of juvenile delinquents when I was in the system, and I sat right on the fence for one. But people, some Catholic, some Christian, they invested in me, and I will always hold, great thanks and great gratuity for them, because they invested in me. And there's just some debts you can't repay. All you can do is pay it forward. So, so I know what it means to be victimized. So when we see people being electronically assaulted, and in our house we call it electronic rape. This is the sensitive topic. My family, we have seen assault as well. We have seen other kinds of predatory behavior as well. And these are bad people. They didn't make mistakes. They didn't miscommunicate. They didn't get drunk or whatever, or get on drugs, or be involved in some kind of cult. These are people that did things out of their own will, on purpose. And then in the end, just victim shamed. So one thing I hate is a victim shamer. So when people electronically assault people, hack them, it gives you the same feelings. And some of these criminal hackers, actually I would say most of them, they laugh about and they brag about what they do. This is the same behavior of serial rapists. The same behavior of serial pedophiles. The same. All of these type of people, they victim shame. So does the serial killer victim shame, because they are totally disconnected from the people they hurt. You're talking about a level of disconnection that is like halfway to catatonia. They are absolutely disconnected from them. And sorry, little creatures always want to get camera time, crazy as it is. It seems like that. Anyway, gosh, what's my train of thought? So these type of people, it's the same attitude about hurting people, crossing boundaries. And we've been victimized now for 8 years, which really, I have no respect, nor do I have any desire, any connection with anything from Saginaw County, because our victimization has been ignored. And not only has it been ignored, but some people that know about it, that are benefiting from it, or they're having fun with it, they spread it to others. But it's not just Saginaw County. It goes deeper than that, but I'm not going to go into it in this video. But we've been victims of electronic assault so many times. And now the fun thing for the perpetrators, that's what they are, perpetrators, electronic rapists, is when, we go online, they'll kick us off twice. Now, I don't like pointing fingers at groups, because I firmly believe people are people. Even if people organize within a group, some people may say, hey, I don't want anything to do with that. I have a family, I have kids, I have 1 or 2 jobs. I don't want to be involved with this nonsense. And what happens if something does happen where it's litigated or it goes to the police? I don't want to be involved. I believe there's people like that. And they're like, also, you're just plain nasty. Nobody likes people who are nasty. In more ways than one. So, I believe there's people like that. But generally what I've been told is, oh yeah, the honk honk on the phone, or kicking you off twice, stuff like that. That sounds like a Hebrew Israelite thing. Now, I'm not going to point a finger at a group. That's what I was told. But I don't know this person's, what's their agenda. Maybe they don't like them. We've encountered a lot of them that have victimized us, but still, I don't like to label groups of anything, because people are individuals. But every time our phones go online, or our hotspot does, we'll get kicked off twice. And this is what I'm talking about. We need an electronic rape kit for people. We need to start prosecuting them, If a small town like Vassar, Michigan, they've had their share of bad people there. If they can prosecute criminal hackers, why can't a much larger city in Michigan prosecute them too? And I mean, some of these hackers are obviously hacking people. Are they sex offenders and they're not supposed to be accessing electronic media? I don't know, but we've had people do it to us more than once. Even with our hotspot, 2 different IPs, or not IPs, 2 different MAC addresses. I can't get the IP. 2 different MAC addresses are blocked because they hacked our network. One of them was a wireless router. I don't use a wireless router. But luckily, I caught it. Who knows what they're doing on my network? So this is what I'm saying. There should be an electronic rape kit. And I'm not joking, people. I'm being serious. This needs to be prosecuted. The more and more that we sit back and laugh, or click our Roku TVs, or our connected devices, broadcasting from our tablets, and just enjoy the smooth flow of life, drinking a beer, or a Cavassier, or smoking a cigarette, or a blunt, whatever, or doing your vape. The longer that we sit by idle and don't care, the more this stuff is going to worsen. The 911 report, now a long time ago, over 20 years ago, actually 24, showed us we were weak in so many areas that there may be another 911. And what have we done about it? Well, I won't say that we've done a little bit above nothing. Our electronic infrastructure was just one thing. So, the kind of things that I would say could go into a electronic rape. Let's stigmatize it. An electronic rape kit. Now, I apologize if some, sexual assault victims find me controversial or dramatic, but I don't think it is. Because the same kind of damage happens to people financially, emotionally, spiritually, psychologically, that happens to somebody in a sexual assault. And this is coming from somebody from a family that has happened. It's the same. And when people are victimized like this, you can't give a pass to any predator. No predator. I don't care what kind of social worker who's abusive to clients, a teacher that crosses boundary and harms children sexually, a doctor, a gynecologist that crosses boundaries when women are on the stirrup chair. A police officer that every time he arrests somebody, even for something just minute, they weren't mouthy, they didn't fight back, or try to assault him or her, but still they're rough with them and they bump him and they hit their head as they put him in the car. We can't tolerate any kind of predator. Or a judge that always sides with big business, even in a small civil suit. Heaven knows we have enough in this county. Always the same plaintiffs. Always. That's another video. But we can't tolerate any kind of predator. And these people, when they cross boundaries electronically, whether it's simulating somebody, you don't know about it, that's another video where I talk about what simulators are and how people are taking a military technology and using it against the populace of our country. And the people that are using the simulators, regardless what anarchists say, it is not mostly police. It is criminal hackers. A vast majority of departments cannot afford an MC catcher or a simulator. They are too expensive for a good one. Too expensive. If you want a good one that has a warranty that includes software people, you're looking at 10 grand plus. That's a lot of money for a small police department. And yeah, they can have Joe Schmo who just got the Army or the Navy or the Air Force or even the Marines build one for them, but it's not the same as a warranty from a tech company. It's not the same thing. Well, criminal hackers are building this stuff in their basement, and they target people through their phones. And if you're using a hotspot that uses the towers, home Wi-Fi they call it, you could be targeted just like somebody that's just being targeted on their LTE, 3G, 2G, or 4G phone. The kind of software is not out there yet to target 5G phones, but I'm sure it will come soon. They'll find some kind of a weakness in the operating systems, and they will start to exploit them. And as far as I know, there's been no patch put in Android to protect people from simulators or from rooting. Rooting is when they crack your operating system. In Apple systems, they call it jailbreak. So they can get to the root processes of your phone, and then you lose control of your phone anytime they want at will. They'll turn your phone off. They could even text you when you think it's your mom or your spouse or your kids or your best friend. It's not. It's a criminal hacker who rooted your phone, or they're passing your phone into a simulator because they know the IMSI number on your phone or the IMEI, which you can also get. If you know somebody's phone number, you can go into the server. I mean, if you have access or you hack access, you can go into the server of a tower where that person's phone is located, for at least a few minutes, and you can pull up their IMEI number with radio data software. I always forget that, darn. I think it's software radio data. No, it's radio data software that's put on a laptop. And then their phone number, their IMEI. They can find them anywhere in the world with enough time and patience. And you can grab their phone. Grab their phone and mirror their phone, what it's doing. Or you can put stuff in their phone. All kinds of stuff that they can do. Or you can just brick it for as long as you want. When we were in Auburn at the Veterans Homeless Shelter Hotel, I had a new iPhone SE2 that was bricked for 6 months. That way I only had one phone to call, and the hotel phone, which never worked. Only one phone call, or one phone to call out if something happened. And that one didn't always connect to the towers. It's another tactic of warfare. Prevent or permanently disrupt comms. So we need to have a electronic rape kit, electronic assault kit, for people's phones, for their network. Is anything rooted? This is some of my suggestions, to assess if anything's rooted, to assess if anything has malware installed, to assess if anything, is directly connected to a tower by looking at, some kind of data that goes to the phone, or is there limited data, but it's repeatedly connected to something. That way people know it's an IMSI catcher or it's a Stingray. Let's see, another thing that people could check for, updates to their antivirus and their malware. Let's see, another thing that could be included in the kit. Patches that don't fit with the normative patches from whether it's iOS or Android. Do you have a patch that is not listed with the appropriate organization that the patch would come from, wherever you are? Oh, let's see, other kinds of things. Battery health indicator. Is your battery acting abnormally? I'm sure that somehow with the drivers they can assess this. Is your battery acting abnormally when, according to the date of the drivers and your battery production date and other systemic stuff that your phone or your other gadget has that are relative to your battery show that there should be no abnormalities. It's not an old battery, it hasn't overheated, it hasn't had damage. There's software, you'd be surprised the kind of thing that there's software out there that it can assess even battery's health. That would be part of the kit. Let's see what we're looking at. Things like how often the phone is truly cold booted. Not a warm boot, a cold boot. How often has this phone been cold booted? If you got a phone that has ROM, then you're more susceptible, like the phone I'm recording on right now. That makes you a little more susceptible because your phone is never truly off. Another thing, assess the drivers. Is there any patches that are related towards do not disturb mode or airplane mode? Has there been any patches on the drivers? This is just some stuff that I'm thinking about. Have there been times when, for example, that the phone's camera or the phone's microphone have been activated with an app that is a third party app, or is an app that really shouldn't have permission to use the microphone and the camera. Shoot, what else? Other kinds of things. Any kind of patch to any application that's not from the originating software producer. I mean, these are just some ideas for patches, to help people. I guess that's about it. And then what we really need, there's a lot of great shareware stuff out there. I'm a big supporter. I love shareware. I've been using, I started using Adobe when the company was nothing. Been using Adobe ever since then. Sometimes paid, sometimes unpaid stuff. Then you got Apache systems. I've been using Apache OpenOffice for 25 years. I started using them when they first put their site on the web. It's shareware. It has pretty much the same utility as Word. There's not as much stuff out there, not as much, gimmicks or as much gadgets widgets out there, but still it's great software. It really is. And it's supporting the shareware community, which believes, great things that make our world better should be shared with others. There's extra stuff you can purchase, like an upsale, but the base software is shareware. I've used other shareware stuff too. But there's a lot of good stuff out there, but you just got to be careful. But now Apache, OpenOffice, I forgot the name. The company's changed hands a couple of times, getting bigger, being bought out. I don't even remember who they're owned by now. But Apache is owned by somebody else. I forget who. Anyway, I guess this is about all I can think of right now for the Electronic Assault Kit. That's about all I can think right now. Here's another one. This would be for Windows-based systems. How often is the shell accessed by internal software or externally? Bring up, you probably have to enable logging of that, but maybe make it a permanent part of Windows. All PowerShell or MS-DOS access is logged every single time. That's the kind of things, other than a phone, how much is is there kernel access to the phone? Rooting and things related to rooting. I guess that's about all I can think of right now. How often is I'm trying to think of another one now. How often, this is for a phone, or the same thing applies for your home hotspot too. It's basically a phone. It's got a SIM card in it. It accesses the tower just like a phone. Except there's no, it's duplex data, not duplex voice. Very similar. Trying to think. Actually, I take that back. There could be duplex voice if you're using some kind of software to chat, but it's just done, like I said, it's done differently. Let me see if there's other copies of an IP to a phone and a MAC address. Is there other, out there? Is there other copies of them that can be, sensed? Let's see. has a phone been connected to something, and that connection became aggressive? The towers are never aggressive. It's passive connection, handshake, and then when you do something, it's always from your end. But now, if a tower is aggressive with the connection, always something being downloaded or something being forcefully uploaded, log it. Something like that. I'm just trying to think of things that would put an electronic assault kit. And the big thing, remote access, or if something has like keystroke logger, which is everything you do is recorded, everything you do on your keyboard, and it's sent, or a screen logger. It records everything on your screen and it sends it. Like Wondershare. Wondershare does some of this kind of stuff. I have a video about that. That kind of stuff. Oh, duh. Is Wondershare installed or Wondershare compatible software installed on any of your electronic devices? Or Wondershare similar software. Where's the certificate from? Now we get to the point of tracing these scumbags. What's the originating certificate for your apps? Where's the originating certificate for sites that you've accessed that keep accessing you when you don't want to access them? What about your third-party apps? Even the unintentional ones. What's their certificate from? Is it blank? Or is it just a general certificate? Stuff like this. I mean, we could make, all of this could fit on a USB. You can clone a phone with a USB. This stuff you see on TV, yes, it's true. You can. You can clone a phone with the right software on a USB. And this is what we would do to find criminal hackers and bring them to justice. People have said to me, oh, you got to watch what you say so you don't sound like you're a violent person. Is it violent to wish that some criminal hacker that's victimizing American families or victimizing our clergy, if you want to see their crappy laptop broken over the hood of their car while they're assaulting, a home or a church or a diocese office or, some federal agency? Is that violent? To wish that, they get caught? Some law enforcement or intelligence officer traces their IP and finds out they're sitting in the parking lot and goes out there and takes their simulator and breaks it over the hood? I think it's sending a statement. Nobody's getting hurt. Besides, that car's going to be impounded anyway.